I'm an intuitive reader, and you can check out more in the description box below. There's merchandise, there are Patreons. The Patreons are getting this ad-free first access, and they get exclusive content and discounts on services, so feel free to check that out. My intention with tarot is to offer you divine guidance and loving clarity. So this is for the collective, this is for the people that will find themselves to this video. Pisces, divine guidance and loving clarity for the Pisces. So let's get into it. So there is seemingly a lot of emotional grief. There's been a lot of Three of Swords come up in quite a few of the readings this month. You know, in many ways, expect turbulence, expect there to be, so there's a Five of Wands, there's conflict around. There's a Queen of Pentacle here, which is a very benevolent, supportive energy. This could be you stepping into this grounded matriarchal energy, but this could also be a female presence, a very grounded, compassionate, loving female presence that's helping you grieve, helping you move through the energy of grief, essentially. Ace of Wands reversed is giving me the message that you might feel a bit like tired or just not very inspired to do much, and or there could be either like a new beginning that you're expecting that's not kind of happened yet, or a new beginning that's kind of presented itself, a creative thing that you're just not like that enthralled by. You're really not possibly just because of like what you're dealing with in the vortex. There seems to be some maybe conflict in the home or conflict within a current creative project that you're working on. There is the Devil reverse energy, so I'm going to get clarity on that. We'll start there. Okay, so this is like a revelatory thing. Eight of Swords reverse. So this is an attachment or long-standing pattern of conflict that you've been looking at, processing, dealing with, and it looks like you're sort of preparing, you're like hashing it out, you're really working it out to then break out of this cycle, break free from, say, the attachment to emotional pain, break free from the attachment to previous losses, like the past pain, the past hurts, and staying in this conflicted state. But the Queen of Pentacles is sort of ushering you and supporting you to ground in to your worthiness and ground into what you're doing, and relinquish that sense of imprisonment, that sense of conflict. There is, and this is running through a lot of the readings, but there is this sense of really grounding in, like really staying grounded and present, dealing with what comes up when it comes up, and then gently moving ourselves forward, if at all. Like, there is wisdom in the stillness, there's wisdom in the allowing, rather than having to get involved and get to engage, certainly in other people's stuff, let alone even some of our old cycles, patterns. These are painful patterns, conflicting patterns, but they're also a double five, saying there's change happening. You know, a lot of profound transformational change can happen as we kind of battle out these energies, and whether it's our psyche, whether it's our, you know, our heart space, our emotions, the energetics of our being, and how that dictates some of the patterns we end up in. I'm getting a message that maybe for quite a few of you, there is a desire to grow the stability and financial side of life, and that's maybe why some of these deeper or seeming deeper wounds are coming up, or you know, the real crux of the change, five, right, really shifting into that next phase, is going to be bringing up, hence where you're going to be the eye of the storm. You're going to stay really grounded, you're not going to necessarily move on anything just yet. until you see it's like things are coming down around you or things are changing around you, and you're not going to make a move until you let everything settle and you can see clearly. Yeah. There's quite a beautiful simplicity here with regards to just staying balanced. Just try to keep yourself balanced. Certainly with regards to managing the pentacles. There's a fire sign here, King of Wands. In general readings, you can kind of shapeshift the genders, certainly, but this is a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. I'm kind of getting this feeling like this could be somebody on your mind. Let's get just a few more cards here. But yeah, the guidance is really just get yourself into stable footing. Simple things like budgeting, knowing what's coming in, knowing what's going out, stabilizing within that framework. Because the pentacle is quite a practical element. It's the earth, it's our physical reality. So it's being present with that, managing that as a point of focus. And then there's like a broader part of you, part of your kind of maybe where you're aiming for, this holding space to clear out a lot of these previous attachments, conflicts, painful losses, grievances, right? That can be resentments and angers and things like that, things that didn't work out, boo. And I say I kind of make light of it often when I'm in the space of doing these readings. And yeah, as a fellow human, I know that it's not light, it's heavy as F, basically, and it's painful, and it can be really kind of a bit trippy, and like, what is life? And yet there's something about stomaching or the resilience that we garner as we move through these kind of more troubling or uncomfortable phases of life. They're learning how to maintain a balance. That's the Libra. This is the kind of nodal transit that we're moving through in this eclipse portal, right? This is a lot to do with balance. This is a lot to do with the self and other, and how we balance ourself in our relationships, right? How we can be ourselves in relationship and trust in that. So for some of us, there's still this reorientation that we're balancing ourselves first. From within that more grounded, balanced space, we assess, we can self-reflect, we can look at things with clarity. If there's a bunch of chaos and turbulence going around all over and all around us and in our mind and heart, it's hard to see clearly. It's that classic thing of like working in the realms of manifestation, and often is the case starting out that we don't even know how to articulate what we want, let alone like feel, think into alignment, take action on all the other elements that go along with it. So this is a constant kind of evolutionary learning. Queen of Pentacles would be maybe even having a guide, a mentor, a therapist, a counselor, one of those sort of gentle guiding forces saying it's all good, keep going. You're grounding down, you're balancing the energies. It's not time to kind of take new starts and make all these new beginnings just yet. There's a lot of healing to do. Yeah, El Clasico. That tower comes up a lot in these readings this month as well. So for a lot of you, it could have been like shakeups and breakups in the home, the family, our lineage, our the maybe going through divorce as a child, or having, or as an adult, past what seemed like the most loving situations falling apart, right? So healing from these firmly and truly. And then for some of you there could be that like more like you've been doing a lot of the emotional processing, but you might still be in the battle. You still might be going through the divorce proceedings. You might be you know having to hash it out on various levels, but there is a freedom break, and then the ability to rebalance yourself from this new life, new point of attraction, new beginning. But I would say there's almost like the new beginning's already been initiated. The new beginnings are well underway. It's just grounding yourself and finding that new stability just through practical again, budgeting, as it were, energetic budget as well. So, and that one presents itself a fair bit too, the Ten of Swords. So these are big karmic cycles completing. That's part of why it's like all these tools and things that we accumulate over our lives, and then they come in really handy for more difficult times, where it's like it's time to really let go of this, it's time to really step into your power, it's time to be more worthy, it's time to own your skill set, it's time to develop that trust and ability that you know you have to generate and create in this world, right? Value through your authenticity, through your grace, as it were, and your wisdom, the owl energy, your perspective. Your wisdom is valuable, Pisces. You're the dreamers, and there's big, heavy players that, you know, we've got Neptune's been transiting your chart since 2011. So huge spiritual kind of revelation. And then the Saturn energy coming through to me is part of solidifying the new structures that have been born from the expansion of Neptune hitting this Pisces. And that's Pisces. This is a final um cycle uh in learning, and then like creating and destroying a Piscean age, right? So we're finally kind of closing out the delusions of the Piscean age, which is helping us birth a new wisdom, right? A new vision for the world, as it were. And this is obviously a beautiful thing. I just think from the rational a sort of old mind or old paradigm perspective, it's broader, it's not so obviously logical, right? And so there is this sort of breaking out of the old patterns and cycles and traumas, etc., so that we can rebalance and start to perceive, right, from the newer, more open-hearted or more unified perspective of being. The wisdom of the owl is giving me a real sense of the piercing of the veil, seeing through to like other realms kind of thing, and allowing yourself permission to maybe share it or write it down or explore some of the gifts that you can channel through that connection. I'm hearing something about the connection to grace. And so there's a bit of a shift here too. The catcher card can often be about like catching negative thinking, especially when we're healing from trauma, when we're healing from a lot of this kind of energy. There's a real, that's why we hang out alone, or we spend time with counselors, or we work in these deeper, I guess, a quieter realm, so that we can catch those negative thoughts. We can be more aware of the subtleties of how those shadows can kind of reemerge in the present moment, right? So yes, finding help sometimes can just offer us a little grace, but also power in numbers or something like that. You know, when sometimes just one other person bearing us a witness to our healing or grief can be enough to just finally go, whoosh, you know, okay. I'm releasing it, I'm letting it go. 21 world, this is completion, right? This is what, and that's part of, I think, even on the global level, part of these cycles are seeming so above and beyond horrible, because you often think of like the final battle, or you know, that kind of like final grasping for power. I'm melting. It's the wicked witch finally is melting, right? But that the build up is always like the most intense. So Pisces, holla Shazam, I think some of you might be having a bit of a turbulent month. Little leading up to freedom break. So this is the power of insight and the power of grounding into stillness, but still very practical. And this would maybe sometimes be a challenge for some of the Pisces, right? Like the practicalities of life might not inspire you very much, but this seems to be where your central focus is. The practical day to day, making sure you're paying the bills, making sure you're generating enough to pay those bills, making sure your feet are on the ground, and yet you're still fully aware of having this connection and having access to this wisdom, and being even more disciplined and or self-aware with regards to what some of the inner dialogue is going on to help you break free from past cycles, of conflict, and or to assist you as you navigate some conflict if it's a familial conflict, right? Or friends around you that are going through a lot of turbulence, and your ability to be there for them and hold space for them. And yet there's something in it all that's helping you anchor in more stability and balance, but then also more than likely show up with greater clarity, break free. You're breaking out of certain, like, say you're a therapist, you've always worked a certain way, then you hit a patch where it gets a bit weird or funny or even conflicted. And then that whole process draws you into something, and then you like see a way that you've been working that you're like, oh, that's not good for me anymore, like that's actually a codependent structure, or the devil, right? Reverse with the eight of swords reverse, you're going to see something that helps you like break free from the prison of your mind. So your whole practice could be evolved. Your whole sense of self could be evolved. Hence, just the practicality of managing the basics of life will help like give you the time and space to go within to expand and then see some of these structures coming from the wounding versus the truth of the more of the truth of who you are, this wisdom, the master, right? It's coming in. So the mastery card was like kind of, it could say reverse, but I'll show you cards you don't need to really, you could do, I guess. But yeah, there is a greater sense of mastery as you let go of the old, step into the new, like completion, the world card, like one book is finished, and you're kind of contemplating after all this life experience, etc. Now, what kind of story do I tell? Well, for now, I'm just going to be really grounded and practical and just sift through the contrast or to see what comes up. Mastery, a greater stillness, a greater quietude. Also, sustainability cards coming up here. So this is the sixth house. This is like your day-to-day routine. Some of you might start meditating every day. Some of you, hence the kind of, it's all very practical, right? Like balancing the scales, working in that regard. Very spiritual as well. I'm getting like for a lot of you, this is the practicality element is actually what's helping you to bring more of your like spiritual essence, like your divine power in the most humble, like Piscean dreamy way. um and then the like the 2 and the 6 here is like you starting to get the guidance to implement the daily routines and the structures within your own, intuitive awareness that can really bring about more for the world as well, like more of that new paradigm energy, more consciousness, more stability. I'm hearing sort of some of you like this might take a little more time than what you're wanting, but there's this grounded practicality, the day routine, like structuring in the things that really serve you and help you, and that be like that structure in the physical dimension as you continue to like just hold space and be in your full awareness. Life just happens, right? So like things will come in, and then you'll be able to be like, okay, holding that space in the dreamy way. But there's a new structure that's coming in that is sustainable, allowing you to infuse some of that spirituality into your day-to-day practical life, which for a lot of you could be your business, could be the ceremonies that you're conducting, or just simply the work and how you're showing up in the world. For some of you, you might be in business as well, and this could just be the kind of ebbs and flows of getting that business off the ground. But like what you do on the day to day has a lot to do with how you're going to sustain generating income through the work that you're doing. And for some of you, it's like a spiritual business. Yeah, because you've moved through a lot, right? And the balance card. So that's all. It's purely like you finding balance in the day to day, wrapping up the cycles, healing stuff, staying grounded, letting that loving support in, maybe working with a guide or working with a sort of loving, supportive, abundant collaborator, and then letting these cycles close out, stepping into greater mastery, and then rebalancing yourself from that more masterful perspective. And really honoring your guidance with regards to those day-to-day routines, those day-to-day structures as part of your gift to the world as well. Like essentially how you lead your life, Pisces, is like how more and more of us are going to be guided to live our lives as well through this sort of dreamy cosmic connection, Neptune moving through your sign, right? Embodying that greater expansive spirituality and the kind of connection to spirit. Saturn coming in just to kind of clean it all up and add structure to that process to then birth it into the world as Neptune ventures into Aries, right? So, like, breaking out of those delusions and birthing the new dream into our cosmic or into our collective cosmic reality. So, holla Shazam, Pisces, holla Shazam, mega, mega love for you guys. Thank you all for your love and support. Let me know if that resonates with any of you in the comments below. And if you've been resonating with the videos, thank you. And also don't forget to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And again, check out the description if you want to know more about myself and or about the brand that I run, All to Love. So holla Shazam, you guys have a great month of April. I look forward to seeing you in the dailies and of course in the next monthly readings. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace out.